Going on, guys? Orange Forum coming at you guys today with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the preview going into week 3. Detroit Lions going up to Arizona, the Arizona Cardinals. Both teams are 1-1 and early in the year. Lions need to get back on track with this game, face off against a tough Arizona Cardinals team in another NFC matchup. Those NFC matchups are always important, down the stretch, seeding, playoffs, so on and so forth. But let's get down to the game. Let's get down to talk about some injuries, some elevations. The one thing I did see that Detroit Lions elevated wide receivers Tim Patrick and Allen Robinson. We picked these guys up late. Tim Patrick got elevated last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, had 1 or 2 catches. Allen Robinson, who's been around for a bit too, another older wide receiver. He's played for the Rams, Jacksonville Jaguars. He's been around a little bit. It took him a little bit to get elevated, but he is elevated too now, and that is 2 big wide receivers that are going to be on this team come Sunday versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now, our wide receiver room or unit is going to look like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Khalif Raymond. Then you're going to see guys like Tim Patrick. Then you're going to see guys like Allen Robinson. Are we going to see Tom Kennedy? Is it going to be Isaiah Williams? It's going to be interesting to see if they do elevate guys like I know Williams has been a little bit banged up, with the abdomen injury, but looks like he's limited to go. We'll know more tomorrow at 4:25. That's when the game is. But I'm interested to see how this wide receiver unit is going to look tomorrow. I really am. I don't know if it's going to be, if it's going to be those 3 I said, Khalif, J-Mo, Amon-Ra, then is it going to be just Tim Patrick and Allen Robinson? Are they going to carry 5? Are they going to carry 6 with the Tom Kennedy because he was playing some special teams, some kick, punt, return, whatever. Isaiah Williams just coming back. He probably won't even be dressed, is my guess. So it's going to be interesting. But let's get down to the injuries. The Detroit Lions right away because they are the road team. Safety, Ifiedo Melifanu, ankle, no practice. He is out for the game. Cornerback rookie Enos Rakestraw Jr. with a hamstring still, no practice, out as well. Linebacker Alex Anzalone, concussion, limited practice. It sounds like he's probably not going to go, but he's questionable. Cornerback rookie Terrion Arnold, illness. I know there was earlier in the week he had some type of hand contusion or something like that, but now it's an illness. He's a limited practice. He is questionable. Who knows what happens there? Graham Glasgow with a knee injury, limited practice as well, questionable. Wide receiver rookie Isaiah Williams, I talked about, with an abdomen. He's limited practice. He's questionable as well. Defensive end Marcus Davenport with a groin, but he was full practice, no injury designation. He is playing. Safety Kirby Joseph, back injury, full practice, no injury designation. And wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown had a quad, full practice, no injury designation. So some guys that we were a little bit worried about, guys like Davenport, maybe a little bit of St. Brown. Dan Campbell kind of, telling people during the week, though, that Amon-Ra was pretty good, that it wasn't too serious. It was just a quad, and then he's good to go. But, guys like, Rakestraw still not getting on the field, really. Anzalone, I think, is a big one. Graham Glasgow banged up. Arnold banged up, sick, whatever he is. Melifanu. We got some guys out, man. Then with the Cardinals, offensive tackle, pretty much a right tackle. Kelvin Beachum with a hamstring, no practice, but he is questionable. Wide receiver Greg Dortch, hamstring, limited practice. He is questionable. D lineman Dante Still, shoulder, limited practice, questionable. Offensive guard Will Hernandez, ankle, full practice. He's good to go, no injury designation. Linebacker Xavier Thomas, personal, full practice, good to go, no injury designation. Wide receiver Xavier Weaver, a rookie, or Woods, whatever, Weaver Woods. He has an oblique, full practice, no injury designation. He is good to go. I don't know if it was Weaver or Woods. I forget. I think it was Weaver. I might even wrote that wrong. No disrespect, but I think that's the rookie they drafted. Pretty sure. Now let's go to the rosters right away, guys. Obviously Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Khalif Raymond, Tim Patrick as that 4, and maybe Allen Robinson. As at number 5, he's getting elevated. So are they going to carry 6 with Isaiah Williams or Tom Kennedy? I'm going to guess no, but who knows? Tom Kennedy was taken back. He was playing some special teams last week. Tight end Sam Laporta, Taylor Decker at left tackle, left guard Glasgow, center Frank Ragnall, guard Kevin Zeitler, and then right tackle Penei Sewell. Glasgow, if he doesn't go, is it going to be a Coyote Iwosika? We'll know more tomorrow about 4:25. Then the defense, Marcus Davenport is back. That's excellent. Nose tackle, DJ Reader. Defensive tackle, Aleem McNeil. Defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson, coming off a humongous game. Will linebacker. I don't think Anzalone is going to play, so we're probably going to see a lot of Ben Neiman, who they picked up a few months back. Jalen Reeves-Maben could get some looks. Rodrigo, Trevor Nowoski. I don't think if he's even going to get called up from the practice squad. But you could see a heavy rotation of Neiman, Jalen Reeves-Maben, and Rodrigo. But you're going to see a lot of Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes at the middle linebacker and same linebacker spots. Cornerback Carlton Davis III. Strong safety Brian Branch. Free safety Kirby Joseph. Cornerbacks Terry and Arnold. If he's not good to go, if he's got some limited stuff going on, could it be Kendall Vildor? Could it be Khalil Dorsey? Those guys are pretty much your first, second guys off the bench when it comes to, outside corner, I would think. So maybe one of those guys are going to get some playing time. Who knows? And then nickel corner, kind of rounding it off, Meek Robertson, the kickers, Jake Bates, and Jack Fox. Now the Cardinals offense, it's a good offense, guys. Don't sleep on this football team. Quarterback Kyler Murray, who's having an excellent start to the campaign. Running back James Conner, who's a hard runner. Running back rookie Trey Benson, who's a really good running back as well. They kind of go 3 deep there. Running back Amari DeMarcado, but they use Connor the most. He's their workhorse guy with Benson in between there, and a little bit of DeMarcado as well. And then the rookie wide receiver, who's a phenom, Marvin Harrison Jr. Excellent kind of coming out party last week versus the Rams. 2 touchdowns, a lot of yards. He is a special wide receiver. Wide receiver Greg Dortch, wide receiver Michael Wilson, and then they got wide receiver Zach Pascal in there, Xavier Woods. That was his name. That's what I don't know why I wrote Xavier Weaver over here. I'm losing my mind. Maybe they do have a guy named Xavier Weaver, but Xavier Woods is their rookie wide receiver. But their main guys are Marvin Harrison, Greg Dortch. Zach Pascal has put up some numbers in the past, a little bit, with the Colts and stuff like that. But it's with the Philadelphia Eagles as well, I think. But this is a Harrison and Dortch team, and then they got an excellent tight end named Trey McBride. Look out for that guy too. Left tackle Paris Johnson Jr., left guard Evan Brown, ex-Detroit Lion, center Hajalti Froholt. I don't know that guy's name, tough to say. Right guard Will Hernandez, and then right tackle Kevin Beecham. Which is it's a really good offense, guys. I think it's a solid offense, and we'll talk about it more when I talk about the rankings. Now, defensive end, Justin Jones, then nose tackle Roy Lopez, defensive end Belial Nichols, outside linebacker Zaven Collins, Xavier Thomas is another guy too, who's a rookie, I believe. Will linebacker Kazir White, who's a good one. Middle linebacker Mac Wilson Sr. Outside linebacker Dennis Gardick is a guy to look out for. Had 3 sacks last week. Look out for that guy right there. Undrafted guy out of West Virginia. Been in the league for 7-8 years. Hasn't done much. He had a coming out party a little bit back in 2020. It was 7 sacks. Kind of didn't do nothing the year after. Then he had then a couple years later, I think maybe last year, he had 6 sacks. So he's a guy that can kind of get to the quarterback. He's not a superstar, he's not a household name, but he's a guy that you need to kind of look out for. Then quarterback Sean Murphy Bunting, strong safety Jalen Thompson, free safety Buda Baker is a guy you need to look out for too. He's still in the league, still making plays. Cornerback Starling Thomas, ex-Lion too. We ended up cutting him last year. He was a guy that was a fiery guy. Been starting over there in Arizona, I think for at least a year now. Because they picked him up last year, and they played him a lot last year, Arizona. And he's not a bad corner, but he's nothing special. But he's an undrafted guy that a lot of fans liked. A lot of fans liked last year, and we ended up dropping him. And then they got rookie Max Melton, and then nickel corner Garrett Williams. Now, Let's talk about some of these NFL rankings, guys. Then we'll talk about the game. We'll go to Detroit, obviously, first. Offense, yards per game, 413 yards a game, puts that number 2 in the league. Rushing per game, 151 a game, puts that 8th. And then rushing per rush, 5.2 yards a rush, puts us at 6. 262 yards passing a game, puts us at number 2. QBR, 70.6, 25th. That's where Goff's not having a good season there. Sacks, only been sacked twice, tied for first. Third down percentage, so turning thirds into first downs, 43.3%. So we are 8th in the NFL, so top 10, not bad. Possession of game, 31 minutes, 49 seconds, 13th in the NFL. Points per game, 21, puts us at 14th, a little bit better than average. And then turnovers, we have 3 on the year. We're tied for third. So offense, we have 3. I believe Goff has all those turnovers. I think he has three interceptions. He had 1 in the LA game, I think 2 in the Tampa Bay game, right? So I think that's it. Then defensively for the Detroit Lions, per game, we're giving up 301 yards, 0.5, 301.5 yards, puts us at 14th. Rushing, 76.5 yards a game, that's tied for third. Rush per rush, 3.3 yards, puts us tied for third. Just third overall. Passing per game, we're giving up 225 yards, that's 20th. QBR, 86.8, 17th in the NFL. Sacks, we have 7 on the year, thanks to Aiden Hutchinson. Mostly, we're tied for 5th. Third down percentage, so our third down trying to get off the field is at a 31.8% clip, so that gives us that ninth in the NFL, which is pretty good. Possession, we're on the field 30 minutes, 31 seconds per average, 13th. And points per game, we're giving up 20, that's tied for 9th. And then we have 2 turnovers on the year, 2 interceptions, I believe, Branch and Kirby Joseph. That puts us at 30th, but I shouldn't even really be talking about that yet because it's still kind of early for turnovers and stuff like that. But I decided to throw it in there a little bit this year. If you don't know my channel, I've been doing this. I start getting into the NFL rankings, like right about now, because we're starting to get into not the meat of the season, but we're almost one quarter in. Now with the Cardinals, let's start with the offense. Yards per game, 379.5 yards, puts them at 7th. They're rushing for 177.5 yards a game. That puts them at 4th, which is excellent. James Conner is nothing to be ignored. Do not ignore that guy. They're rushing for 5.5 yards a carry, puts them at 4th. They're passing for 202 yards a game, 15th. That's not great. That's a little bit better than the middle of the pack, though. QBR, 122.8. That puts Kyler Murray at 4th. He's having an excellent start to the year. Like I said, he's been sacked 5 times, tied for 26th. Third down percentages, they are converting thirds into firsts at a 58.3% clip. That's number 1 in the NFL. Their offense is clicking. Possession a game, 33 minutes, 12 seconds. That means they are 8th overall in the NFL, which is excellent. Points per game, 34.5 points a game they are scoring. That's number 2 in the league. And they have 2 turnovers against them. Don't know, I think, if it's Kyler or fumbles or anything like that. I should look into that. But they do have 2 turnovers on the year in 2 games, which isn't a bad thing. And then their defense, yards per game, giving up 298.5 yards a game. That puts them at 13th. 91.5 yards rushing against. That puts them at 8th. Rushing per rush, 3.5 puts them at number 4. Passing per game against, 207 yards per game, puts them at 18th. And 18th, is that right? Yeah, okay, that's right. And then QBR against, 114.4 against. That is pretty. That's pretty high. That's actually pretty high. So that puts them at about 3 or 4, or 28th if you're going that way. So that puts them at 28. So they are susceptible to the pass. Now sacks. Murray's been sacked 7 times, so you can get to him. That's tied for 5th. Third down percentage, that's them getting off the field or converting against, 25%. That puts them at number 3. Their defense is doing a good job there. Possession a game, 26 minutes and 48 seconds. That puts them at 8th in the NFL. Points per game, they're giving up 22 points a game. That's tied for 11th. And then they have a couple turnovers to their names. That's like tied for 30th as well. So, they haven't really struck anything gold there. But they are playing pretty well at a pretty good clip. So, this is a tough game, guys. I had a really tough time analyzing this game on who I think was going to win. Last week when I did my aftermath of that football game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I was picking the Cardinals. I was coming out here, I was picking the Cardinals. I can't do it just quite yet. I'll give you my prediction in a minute. I just kind of gave it away, but that's okay. But this is a team, Arizona. We're going up there, NFC matchup. Kyler Murray, I don't think has ever beat Detroit. Jared Goff is like 7-1 against the Arizona Cardinals. Since his Rams days, they've been in the same division. So he's like 7-1 against them. This is a tough Arizona Cardinals team. They probably should be 2-0. They manhandled the Los Angeles Rams last week, and then they should have beat the Buffalo Bills in week 1. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I understand all that stuff, but they're a tough team. They should have beat the Bills. Their offense is really good. Murray has a really nice start to the year. I think we're favored by, I want to say 3.5, 4.5, maybe 3.5. Don't know what it is right now. It's the last time I saw it was about 3.5, 4.5, if I can remember correctly. It's not gonna be an easy game for us. Like I said, Kyler Murray's starting off nice. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a problem. I love their tight end, Trey McBride. I don't know who's going to cover him. They could be in a lot of trouble there, especially if Anzalone doesn't play. He's been our better cover linebacker for the past year and a half. Jalen Reeves maybe can cover, but he's more special teams. You're going to see Jack Campbell out there a lot. He's going to have his hands full with a guy like Trey McBride. Marvin Harrison Jr., the rookie, is a stud. Who's going to be on him? Is it going to be Terrion? Is it going to be Carlton Davis? I would think it would be Carlton Davis for majority, but he didn't have a good game last week versus Chris Godwin. So, and it looked like they gave the bigger wide receiver more to Terrion Arnold than Mike Evans. So could they give Terrion Arnold a lot of looks on Marvin Harrison Jr.? That's to be determined. Don't really know just yet. But don't sleep on this offense. Don't sleep on this team. This is a team that, you're going to have to contain Murray. You don't contain Murray, they're going to hurt you there. Mobile quarterbacks kill us. Mobile quarterbacks kill, I think, a lot of teams in general. Everyone says the Lions, they're the only team who can't stop the mobile quarterback. It's not true, but we do struggle against them. That is a fact. And if Aaron Glenn strictly came out and says, we don't believe in, or he doesn't believe in spying a quarterback because it leaves the field open too much to too many big plays, especially if one little thing goes wrong. I understand where he's kind of coming from, and I don't know who's going to be able to cover Kyler Murray anyways. Are you gonna take Brian Branch's assignment off everything else and just have him come up and kind of play in the box and kind of spy Murray all game? You're not doing it with any linebacker on this team. You're not doing it with Anzalone. You're not doing it with Derek Barnes. You're not doing it with Jack Campbell, Rodrigo. You're not doing it with any linebacker on this team. So you'd have to do it probably with a safety. And the only safety that I would trust would be Branch. But then you're taking him out of, deep middles. You're taking him out of, out of being able to cover other areas. You're kind of restricting him to one thing. And I think that's tough to do, especially with a guy like Branch where you kind of want him all over the field. So you're just going to have to contain him. You're going to have to try to keep him inside. Don't let him bounce outside. He's excellent when he bounces outside and he makes plays with his feet. He can throw in the run very well. And he's having a good year. He's having a good start to the year. He really is. Their O-line isn't the greatest. It's not the greatest O-line, but they got some guys that can play over there. I like Beachum. Will Hernandez isn't bad. They don't have any household names. I would say Paris Johnson Jr., I think was a first-round pick from Ohio State. I believe he was a first-round pick a couple years back or last year. He's pretty young though, so they have some pieces. They have some pieces on offense. Now on defense, the Arizona team, they don't. I like Budda Baker, the safety. I really like that Dennis Gardeck kid. Where was that? The Dennis Gardeck kid. Not a household name. Like I said, 3 sacks last week versus Matt Stafford. That whole line is in disarray in LA, but he still did his job. He's going to have probably a little bit tougher against guys like Decker and Penei Sewell, obviously. But it's a guy you got to keep an eye out for. And they got some guys on that O-line, man, on that defensive line. Xavier Collins is a former first-round pick, I believe. I like their linebacker, White. Kazir White, believe he came from the Raiders last year or a year before, maybe even this year. I don't know, but he's a guy who's a pretty good linebacker. You got some guys over there. They don't have a ton of playmakers over there. There's not a ton of playmakers. I don't think they have a pick yet. I think it's 2 fumble recoveries on that defense, but they're not a bad defense too. This is a team that they play tough. They remind me a lot of the Lions. They're tough. They're just a tough team. Different personnel obviously and stuff like that, but it's a team that you can't really sleep on. They're always going to be in the game. And this is a tough game. Like I told you guys, man, I was picking Arizona in this game. Last Sunday or Monday, or like Monday when I did my aftermath, I was like, I think I'm going to take Arizona. Not going to do it, but they need to really buckle down this week. Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, who has not been good for 2 games, they need to buckle down. Ben Johnson needs to, stick to what they know. Run the football. I believe you can run on this defense a little bit too, even though they have a pretty good average against. You gotta use Gibbs. You gotta use Dave Montgomery. This could be a big Sam Laporta game. It's kind of been a ghost a little bit. Amon-Ra, J-Mo. The weapons are there. We have a great O-line. We should not be only scoring. What are we scoring? Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. What are we scoring here? We are scoring as a team 21 points a game. It's 14th in the NFL. Unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. Got to do better than that. Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson. You got to do better than that. You got to use your guys. You got to, stick with what you know. And these guys are a lot smarter than me. Trust me, man. It's obvious. A lot smarter than all of us. But, man, sometimes they get a little bit too cute on offense, it seems like. And it's early. It's super early. Then on defense, it's going to be tough. Get to Murray. Try to stop Marvin Harrison Jr. as much as you can. He had his coming out party last week. I love their tight end, Trey McBride. He's going to be an issue. He's going to be an issue tomorrow. I just don't know who's covering him. I just don't. It really makes me worried. You don't get to him, McBride's going to be open a lot because I don't know who's going to cover him. Really don't. That makes me a little bit nervous. But like I said, guys, I'm going to take the Lions here. Just because I was going to take the Cardinals last week doesn't mean I'm in full-blown panic mode. I almost took the Cardinals just because I just think in Arizona, tough atmosphere. It's a tough place to play. Goff is very successful there, though. Murray's never beaten us. I always think, oh, man, are they due? Are they due? But I'm sticking with Detroit. It's going to be a balls-to-the-wall type fight of a game. 27-26, Detroit Lions. That's what I think is going to happen in this football game. Very close game. Lots of things are going to happen in this game. Probably some turnovers and whatnot there. So, it could be last man with the ball to win this football game. We could see a Jake Bates field goal to win this. So, makes me a little bit nervous this football game, guys. Let's go up 2-1 and win another NFC matchup because you just lost one last week. We can't lose. I can't afford to lose these NFC matchups. Can't afford to lose them. So 27-26 Detroit Lions with the victory. Just dropped the pen. So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for letting me come in and watch the video and talking about our Lions. Don't forget to hit the Don't forget the bell up top. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the bottom right. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Really appreciate it, guys. Go Lions, grit, Detroit versus everybody. Let's go. Lions victory. Boom.